What's up, Canuck fans? Welcome to the Line Change Podcast, a proud presentation of DraftKings Sportsbook, as well as a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, every team, everywhere. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about Elias Pettersson, the forward. A new Ian McIntyre article has come out, and PD gets very candid and opens up to iMac about his personal life, his recent injury, and just overall this season, and what we can expect from him for the remainder of the season. It's a great read. I highly recommend reading the article if you haven't already. Ian McIntyre always has amazing articles, and he's very respectful, which is probably why PD was so open to him, something he usually doesn't do. And we all know the relationship between PD and the media, but he full-on opened up to iMac, and I just thought this was a fantastic article, fantastic read, and let's go ahead and check out this article, shall we? All right, so here's the first part. This is from the day before the game against Detroit, which was last night. So, with 505 games in the National Hockey League, Elias Pettersson has experienced a good deal as a player, but like most 27-year-old players, he hasn't yet accumulated much life experience outside of hockey until 5 weeks ago. For example, the Vancouver Canucks center had not known the heart-crushing loss of someone close to him. Then Pettersson and his new wife, Caitlin, lost their unborn baby, who was due in July. On December 4th, she shared news of her miscarriage on social media. The next night, Pettersson was injured in a 4-1 loss against the Utah Mammoth. Pettersson missed the next 8 games due to the undisclosed upper body injury, but was dealing with more than that privately. And this is a quote from Elias Pettersson himself. "Yeah, it's been hard, honestly," he said Wednesday after practicing in Detroit for Thursday's game against the Red Wings. "As a married guy now, I couldn't be happier with Caitlin. Obviously, it's very emotional. It's not what you expect to happen. You don't think it's going to happen to you. It's tough, but that's life." 6 games into his return and still trying to locate that elite form that had him in the top 10 in NHL scoring 2 calendar years ago, Pettersson became emotional when asked about the couple's loss. He and Caitlin were married in June. "I'm not going to sit here and make everyone feel bad for me. We're not the only ones this has happened to," he said, "but it is tough." When Caitlin posted about it, just the amount of people who reached out and shared their own stories, that helped us a lot. A social media influencer who seems as comfortable in the spotlight as her husband is wary of it at times. Caitlin Pettersson also posted a clip of the couple taking a twirl on the ice at Rockefeller Center during the Canucks' pre-Christmas trip to New York. The problem, at least optically, was that Pettersson was still injured. He joined the Canucks on the 5-game trip, but while his status was considered day-to-day throughout the excursion, he did not play again until after Christmas. The brief video got the Canucks' attention. This is a quote from Adam Foote. "Him and I had to talk about it after the fact," head coach Adam Foote said Wednesday. "I was just giving him advice like, hey, when you're injured, maybe stay away from the social media part. I think young guys, we have to teach them that just to keep the noise away." After Pettersson had a miserable season last year under previous coach Rick Tocchet, who along with general manager Patrick Allvin was critical of the player's preparation, Foote made it a priority when he became coach in May to reach out to Pettersson and start building a relationship. The two have had a lot of conversations since then, including one soon after the miscarriage. "He's shared it, we've discussed it, and we support him on that," Foote explained. "It's not easy when you're married or you have a family. You're married to the game first unless someone's sick or ill or you lose a baby or become a father. Then it becomes we're all human. That would jolt any man, I think, and that kind of affects guys for sure. As you get older, probably more things happen. Everyone deals with it in their own way. However long that takes, him and I had a discussion about it. It would jolt him for sure, but every year there's things that go on behind the scenes that not everyone knows that are real. It's part of life, and life can be complicated." After struggling initially upon his return from injury, Pettersson has been better over the last 4 games, including a night of analytics dominance in a 3-2 overtime loss to the Boston Bruins last Saturday. Pettersson has made the Canucks the stronger team when he's on the ice. Despite losing all 4 games, the Canucks have outshot opponents 36-18 with Pettersson playing at 5-on-5. NaturalStatTrick.com has high danger scoring chances, 19-5 for Vancouver during Pettersson's time on ice. That has probably changed since the Detroit game, as well as probably the Buffalo game. Before he was injured, Pettersson had his best month since signing a team record $92.8 million contract nearly 2 years ago, an agreement that reflected the expectations the Canucks had for their franchise center. Pettersson had 14 points in 12 games in November, was leading all NHL forwards in blocked shots, and was digging in physically and competing in his nightly matchups against the opposition's top center. He has scored in the last 2 games, but with 11 goals and 15 assists in 34 games overall, Pettersson is generating points at roughly the same rate he did during his dismal 45-point season a year ago, 0.76 points per game instead of 0.70, but the center's underlying defensive numbers are solid. Now, obviously, Pettersson didn't score in the game against Detroit, so again, this article is from the day before last night's game. I think I was doing okay, Pettersson said, but injuries happen. Now that I'm back, I'm just trying to work my hardest out there and play the right way. It's going to be a nagging injury for a while, probably the rest of the season, but I can play with it. In some situations, there's some pain, but I can push through it. Foot believes the 4-day NHL holiday break when players were mainly off the ice set back Pettersson and his skating. The coach said he is starting to see more energy from his top forward. While Pettersson was injured, the organization underwent a seismic shift on December 12th when the trade of defenseman Quinn Hughes forced management to further pivot towards a rebuild. It also left Pettersson and goalie Thatcher Demko as the last players remaining from the glittering early 20s core that Alvin and Canucks president Jim Rutherford inherited 4 years ago. Centers JT Miller and Bo Horvat were traded in previous seasons. Canucks also looked before and after last year's trade deadline at the market for Pettersson. Although the Swedes' no-movement clause activated on July 1st, Rutherford would be prudent to plumb the market again before the March 6th deadline this season. Of the Canucks' rapid course change, he said, I'm not going to lie, it's hard. Obviously, I want to battle, and I want to play in the playoffs, but we need to see what's best for our future and build long-term. Foote still believes Pettersson can be an elite center, but he must embrace that challenge and want that responsibility. Now, that first quote was from Pettersson himself, just so you guys know. This is a quote from Adam Foote. If you're lucky enough to become a part of a core with any group, whether it's hockey or any sport, yeah, you should feel that responsibility, Foote said. You should want to feel it. That's what comes with it, right? Does he feel the heat? Well, he should feel it and should enjoy it. It's part of what comes with being the core guy. After the Canucks had a ragged start to Tuesday's 5-3 loss in Buffalo and didn't generate much pushback until they were down 4-0 in the third period, Wednesday's practice consisted largely of battle drills before Foote gathered his players for a brief talk and then ordered them straight off the ice to get ready for the Red Wings. Filipino was a partial participant in a non-contact jersey, but Teddy Blueger, who wore the red jersey in Buffalo, was not part of the group on Wednesday. All right. Before we go any further and break everything down that we just talked about, let me do my mid-show sponsor read, and starting off by thanking my main and primary sponsor, none other than DraftKings. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, well, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. New customers, this one's just for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per wager. Tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright of the NHL 2025, all rights reserved. I'd like to thank my secondary sponsor, none other than Gassy Jack Art, maker of this amazing artwork you see here, as well as on display behind me. You guys can check them out yourselves at gassyjackart.com. All right, let's dissect this article right here. So first, Pettersson talks about going through the personal struggles of his wife suffering a miscarriage. Now, before anyone says anything, things like this, you don't just easily get over. It's like losing a loved one. It weighs on you mentally for a very long time. Just as an example, my mom passed away almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years this April, and I'm still not over it. And it's been that long. So just a little example there. I will say this is good for Pettersson to open up like this and make it known that, yeah, it was extremely difficult going through that, and mix that in with the pressure of playing a professional sport and the fact that he's paid big time money to perform at the highest level, and he hasn't really performed at that level for almost 2 years now. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure on you on top of going through what you're going through personally. He is a human being like me and you. I get it. People are like, oh, this is another excuse. This is different. And honestly, in my opinion, if you're going to have an quote unquote excuse, this is a pretty darn good one and shouldn't be labeled as such. Just my opinion. We even heard from Adam Foote, who mentioned that he spoke to PD about it and they had conversations. PD confided in Foote about what was going on, and probably Alvin and Rutherford as well, and some of the team as well. Then we get into what I think was absolutely overblown and made a big deal when it shouldn't have been made a big deal. And that was PD on the New York, New Jersey road trip before Christmas, going skating with his wife, and people going crazy over it. The fact that the team had to talk to him about it is absolutely silly. Like, the guy's allowed to spend time with his wife. It's not like he was playing a game of pickup hockey when he should have been, when he's supposedly injured. He's going for a skate with his wife at Rockefeller Center during the holidays in New York. Stop blowing this stuff out of proportion. It's fucking ridiculous. PD would then go on to talk about his injury and how he's still dealing with it, and that he is going to be dealing with it for the rest of the season. But many are assuming it's a wrist, hand, or arm injury. I did my detective work in my last PD video, which, by the way, if you guys haven't watched, feel free to go back and watch that one. It's the PD Speaks video, talking about, the whole thing between him and Quinn Hughes. PD does say that he can play through it. Now, when I hear this, I have to admit, part of me is thinking maybe they should shut him down so he doesn't further aggravate the injury and make it even worse. Part of me even thinks maybe he shouldn't be playing in the Olympics if he's dealing with an injury, and should instead take the time to heal. Now, if we were in a playoff position, most people would probably be saying the same thing. But the reality is we're not. So perhaps they shut him down after the Olympics, or maybe closer towards the end of the season, and allow him to get a head start on his offseason once again, much like they did last year. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. PD also talks about and hints he's on Team Tank and is all for a rebuild, which probably is music to Canuck fans' ears, and probably is going to make a lot of, PD haters kind of stop hating on him a little bit. To end off the article, Foote talks about the heat, the quote-unquote heat and the pressure of being a core guy, saying that Pettersson needs to want that responsibility. I did want to point out this last bit here about Teddy Bluger not being present for the practice on Wednesday, which is a little concerning, just because he's already had a setback, but perhaps I'm kind of reading into it too much. Maybe they just figured they'd give him the day off. But once again, I thought this was a fantastic article by Ian McIntyre. You really got to see Elias Pettersson, the person, not the athlete, not the hockey player, but the person. Everyone knows PD's, quiet. He's kind of keeps to himself. He doesn't really like talking to the media about personal stuff, which I don't blame him at all. Not one bit. His personal business is just that. It's his personal business. But it's just heartbreaking to hear him talk about him and his wife going through that miscarriage and the fact that it still weighs on him. I mean, like I said, towards the beginning, it's not something you get over just easily. You can't be like, go a little bit and just turn a switch off and be okay with it. It shit doesn't work that way. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about this video and this article. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, feel free to hit that like button. And if you guys want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. Also, go ahead and check out the Line Change merchandise store. I just put some new merch up onto our website. You guys can check it out. I'm calling it our 1 year anniversary collection, as we will be celebrating a 1 year coming up next month in February. So go ahead, check it out. thelinechangepodcast.threadless.com. There's some deals on some of the merch as well. So go ahead, check it out. And also, feel free to join the discussion on our official Discord. There's a link in the description down below. It's completely free to join. So go ahead and do that. And we can have more conversations and discussions such as this one over on our Discord. You can find and interact with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. We're everywhere. Go ahead and feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. And if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us on either platform. And also, be sure to download your favorite episode on either platform. It also really helps out the podcast. So go ahead and do that. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, let's go Canucks. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.